College football analyst Kirk Herbstreit sets the record straight on Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, and the Ole Miss Rebels. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to talk about the thoughts of Kirk Herbstreit on Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban, those Ole Miss Rebels. We know Lane Kiffin name is tied to a couple of head coaching jobs, even though he's the head coach at Ole Miss. His name has been tied to LSU and Florida. All right. We know that, LSU just fired Brian Kelly just a week ago, and Florida fired Billy Napier, and they got Lane Kiffin's name on the list. Now, Florida, they got about three names right now. Lane Kiffin is number 2. All right, LSU got 3 or 4 names. Lane Kiffin is not at number 2 on that list too. I also read that Joe Brady is number 1 on LSU's list. Lane Kiffin number 2, Nick Saban number 3. All right. And also Shaq also put out that there was talks between LSU and Nick Saban. But Kirk Herbstreit is mighty adamant that Nick Saban is not going back to coaching. Okay? And he's also mighty adamant about what he said about Lane Kiffin also. So let's go ahead and get into it. You can go to MSN if you want to read this article. The title of it is Kirk Herbstreit sets record straight on Ole Miss football coach Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban. Now, on the latest podcast of Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway's podcast, Nonstop, Herbstreit made it clear that Kiffin was going to be the biggest name on college football coaching market and that Nick Saban was not getting back into coaching. There were rumblings about Saban and LSU, but Herbstreit seems to have put that to rest. Well, we about to see. Herbstreit said, let me put 2 things to the side. Lane Kiffin is not going to the NFL, and Nick Saban, you can't pull him off the game day desk. He says, Nick Saban, guys, you got to stop bringing up Nick Saban's name for all these jobs. He's not going anywhere. My man is enjoying life. For 50 years, he told me, for 50 years, I've been in a hurry. Now I've got a Mercedes-Benz dealership, Ferrari dealerships. Come on, man. Nick Saban is enjoying his life. That's what Kirk Herbstreit said. Nick Saban enjoying his life. He ain't got to be in a hurry no more to do nothing. To do nothing, man. And my thing is, why would anybody want to hire a 74-year-old coach? All right, you bring him in, give him we'll say this is Nick Saban, not the greatest to ever do it. You give him a 10-year, $100 million contract, right? At 74 years old. That is crazy. That is crazy. And eventually, you're going to wind up buying him out. All right? The man is 74, and you know a coach that age is set in his ways, and you know it. He'd have made some changes throughout the years when he was at Alabama. But once the transfer portal got out of hand, and then you brought NIL into it, that's part of the reason why Nick Saban retired. And then to come back and have to deal with that all over again, that is crazy. That's just me. But another question. Would Nick Saban be the right fit for LSU? I would have been, he's 74 years old. He done coached for 50 years. Now, I know Nick Saban got ties to LSU. He coached there, brought him a national championship. And I know LSU would love to have the guy. But will he be the right fit? Why not go out and get you a 45, 50-year-old coach? Maybe even younger. Why not? I think a younger coach will be able to deal with what's going on in college football today as far as the transfer portal, the NIL, and everything else that's damn changing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I wouldn't be upset if he go back to coaching. I wouldn't be upset if he go to LSU. I wouldn't give a damn. Just another coach for Coach Kalen DeBoer to put on his list. That's all I know. But anyway, Kirk Herbstreit seemed adamant that Nick Saban is not coming back to coaching. Anyway, Kiffin and Saban are tied together because Kiffin was an offensive coordinator at Alabama in 2014 to 2016 after flaming out of USC's as USC's head coach. Kiffin's image was rehabbed in coaching circles. Now, both are at the forefront of this year's coaching carousel. Yeah. Kiffin might be at the forefront of this year's coaching carousel, but Nick Saban is not. Nick Saban had several opportunities to go back to coaching. He has not. I remember Nick Saban saying if he wanted to go back to coaching, he should stay at Alabama. Come on, baby. And I know some fans might say, well, KB, you just don't want Nick Saban to go back to coaching, especially at LSU. Like I said, I wouldn't give a damn. I wouldn't give a damn where you go. If you ain't coaching for Alabama, I don't give a damn where you're coaching at. That's just my opinion. But anyway, I know some Alabama fans don't want Nick coaching no more, especially at LSU or especially within the SEC. Now, Herbstreit made it clear that Saban is not going back to coaching. He would know because he works with Saban weekly on the College Game Day set. LSU is the only program that would have gone after Saban, but this carousel would have become even more interesting if he had not left. Now, if he was still coaching, maybe I would think he was going back. But he retired for a reason. I would say if he was still coaching and the transfer portal wasn't like it was and the NIL wasn't involved, I think he would still be coaching. He'll still be at Alabama, and LSU would be coming after him. Now, I do think that, and he would consider it. Now, I do think that. But the way it is now, no. And plus, he's 74 years old. Come on now. Anyway, Herbstreit also clarified that Kiffin will not leave for the NFL anytime soon, which is good news for Ole Miss fans. However, he did not specify if he was staying at Ole Miss. Kiffin could remain at Ole Miss, but the fact that LSU and Florida are both interested in him for their head coaching position will make this a fight for Ole Miss to keep him, even with him saying money is not a big differentiator. Well, I don't know what Lane Kiffin gonna do, but I think Lane Kiffin should stay at LSU he should stay at Ole Miss. Because guess what? He ain't wanting for nothing at Ole Miss. Nothing. Ole Miss will give Lane Kiffin whatever he wants. And I think they already offered him a contract extension. Already. I don't know if he done took it or he done put his name on the paperwork. Lane Kiffin really is not saying anything about these head coaching jobs at Florida or LSU. Now, both programs, hey, they might be bigger than Ole Miss. Yeah, they might be bigger than Ole Miss. And you might get more high-profile recruits at those programs. But I guarantee you, he would have less of a chance of getting fired at Ole Miss than LSU. Because you go, he'll have less of a chance to get fired at Ole Miss or Florida. Because guess what he got to do when he get there? He got to build the program. He got to go hire other coaches. I know he'll take some from Ole Miss, but he got to go hire other coaches. He got to bring in his players. Some will transfer with him if he go. But then you got to have a year or two grace period to bring in your players to implement your scheme. That's what you got to do. And it's already set in stone at freaking Ole Miss. That's facts. That's facts. Now I can see if you coming from a daggone FCS or Group of 5 program coming to the SEC to be a head coach or coming to Power 4 to be a head coach. Hell, that's a damn upgrade. Is leaving Ole Miss for LSU or Florida, is that an upgrade given the recent history that they done had? Is it really an upgrade? Florida been fucking terrible. For how long? At least since we'll say 2021. They went to the SEC championship in 2020. So 2021 up until now, Florida's been horrible. And LSU ain't far behind since 2019. Well, since 2020, because they won the national championship in 2019. So since 2020, LSU ain't been much better than Florida, in my opinion. So is it really an upgrade for Lane Kiffin? Just asking. But hey, if I was Lane Kiffin, I would stay right the hell where I'm at. I'm winning 9, 10 games a year. It's a great possibility that I can go to the playoffs this year. Yeah, sure is. So if I go to Florida or LSU, shit. I don't think. Well, if he go to Florida LSU, I don't think he'll be a playoff team next year, or he'll have a playoff team. I don't. He damn sure got one this year in Ole Miss. So hey, it is what it is. We don't know what Lane Kiffin gonna do, but in my opinion, he's staying at Ole Miss. All right, Lane Kiffin staying at Ole Miss. Nick Saban is not coming back to coaching. That's what I think. And like I said, if he do, and he go to LSU, just another name and another team on the list for Coach Kalen DeBoer to smack that ass. That's all. It is what it is. He's the greatest head coach of all time. But guess what? Coach Kalen DeBoer gonna beat that ass. I'll tell you that right now. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know what you think about Lane Kiffin possibly going to LSU or Florida, and the talk around Nick Saban coming back to football, and the talk that, the thought that Shaq said that there's talks between LSU and Nick Saban. All right, let me know what y'all think, and y'all be blessed. Remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, and roll damn Tide.